What's up guys, I'm back with another Disgaea RPG video. We're going to be looking at Sister Artina, our resident nun of the Disgaea game. She is the new advent unit we can get, so a nice free unit with the scaling shards to unlock her, but we're going to be looking at her stats, her evilities, her skills, spells, how they all intertwine with each other, how good is she. Have a little think about the tier list as well. Since we've got a tier list on the fandom now, we'll have a think what sort of place we think she should be in. But we'll jump straight in. Remember guys, if you do enjoy the video, please do hit like, and if you're new to the channel, do hit subscribe too. There's always more Disgaea RPG content to come, so why not hit that button. So she is a bow user. Now, first thing I'll say about that is that she is not tied to the bow. She can be any weapon forte you want to use her, and I will show you why in a minute. So stats wise, resistance is her highest stat, quite average speed, 54, so that's not too bad as well. Other stats are fairly balanced, 10 million, 9 million, 9 million, they're all pretty standard. Pretty decent attribute resistances there, 50 for fire, water and wind, so that's pretty good. Weapon mastery, staff's at level 9, that's nice known for skills, that's quite high already. But we're going to move on to this main bit here, the evilities. So her leader one, Faith Protection, all allies SP +5 when a turn begins. Fantastic. Now you'd think it might be just SP +5, but it's every turn, it's all allies regardless of forte, regardless of monster or humanoid, so that is brilliant. Anyone, Gift of the Saint, humanoid allies, AoE damage dealt plus 15%. So bow users, an AoE evility is quite standard. 15% AoE buff is good, so remember that spells as well as skills, int damage as well as attack damage, it's everything. That's all good as well. NE +5, Innocent Belief. Just for herself this one, damage dealt to monsters plus 45%. Pretty decent attack buff for her. She's not getting loads of attack buffs for herself, but this is quite nice. It just upped her damage a bit because she was a bit lacking that until she gets this evility. But remember, it's only just for monsters as well. NE7, Celestial Favour. All enemies, attack and intelligence minus 10%. Great there as well. You've already got a built-in attack and intelligence debuff. So if you're building her as a bow and you're already doppelganging a unit, don't have to be using Doppelganger as her main move, because that might not be her role in your team, but that means enemies then on minus 20 attack already. So in one turn, she's already giving you 5 SP to everyone, and she's already debuffed the enemy's attack by 20%. Pretty decent, looking very promising so far. Let's look at these skills. What I'll tend to do is I'll go over skills, I'll go over magic spells, then we'll go back up to these abilities, talk about them a bit more in depth, see if they link to the skills much at all, and just talk about how we're generally going to use her in teams anyway. So skills, Holy Barrier, a party HP recovery skill, and also has Poison Invalidation. So this is similar to the Easter units, where once you've used a spell, once you've used a skill, your units cannot be poisoned. That is brilliant. I hate getting poisoned. It's a very annoying, just getting chip damage off your units every time. Absolutely hate it. And this is a lot cheaper than using Espoir. I know Espoir you can use for everything, but Poison, gone. I know Espoir can be used for everything, but that's expensive. This is very cheap, and this one is a preemptive effect. So Espoir eliminates it once you've got it. This one stops you from getting it. The stat it's tied to is resistance. So she had a high resistance, this works well for that. So like all healing moves, stick a couple of chaos orbs on, or whatever orb you've got, resistance goes up higher, better healing from this unit. Her second skill she learned, self-defense. This is her big single attack, only A to A+ damage, so she's got no S damage rated moves. Mid-costing one, but also reduces the enemy speed by 10%, and it has a wind attribute attached to it. So not something I love seeing all the time, because the attributes does mean you're sort of bottlenecking it against some units. But having that added debuff of speed minus 10%, you might see it's quite handy anyway. Her final NE3, None Punishment, and again, because she's free and farmable, NE3 is not going to be too hard to get. You might get that on the first or second time she comes around, depends how long she's around for. But it is Nun Punishment. You're going to feel this Nun's Wrath. Punishment time, baby. This is her big area of effect attack. Similar role as Doppelganger, but this time it debuffs the enemy's attack by 12% instead of 10. It is expensive, 80 costing. For global, it'll currently go down to 75, I believe. So it's still quite expensive. But C damage, area of effect attack, it's pretty good. So her magic spells, quite a nice balanced selection. A mixture of healing, defense debuffing, and star damage. It's all quite nice. You don't get normal star, you just get the area effect ones. So Mega Star and Omega Star when our magic spell cap gets raised to 40. But we're currently stuck at 30 anyway, so she can get heal quite early on. But she's already got her party heal anyway, so not going to be a lot of need for that one. Armor Break and Mega Armor Break. Ironically, Mega Armor Break is good on her own advent. Not you take Sister Artina because she doesn't have the Geo effect, but so it's always a nice spell to have. I don't like it as much as Mega Braveheart because it doesn't carry over into the next wave, whereas you Mega Braveheart yourself, it carries over. Mega Armor Down is only for that one unit, and once they're gone, that spell is redundant now, and you've got to use it on another enemy. But knocking an enemy's defense in half is decent, and if you're struggling for units that have high defense, it's perfect for that. The Giga Heal and Omega Star, when it does get raised, I'm not sure you're going to want them. If you're building her as a staff unit because you can, then you're going to get them anyway. But if you're not building her as a staff unit and you want her for a certain other team, I'd happily settle at 22. She's got this Holy Barrier. It's cheap, very cheap compared to Giga Heal. Even with that 5 SP every turn, you're not going to be able to get that very often. Whereas with her 5 SP, you can do Holy Barrier every 2 turns if it's needed. It might not be needed, but you've got that effect there. Now let's look at these evilities and skills again. Now, as on the Reddit, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong here, but Efloli always comments on my posts. Thank you very much for that. They did point out that she can go on any team you like, and she's a great attacking support, and I completely agree with that. For a free unit, she is top notch as a support. SP plus 5 is brilliant. Everyone else is going to be getting more skills out, and if you're making sure she's going first every turn, that means if you're farming for things like that, she might not be like a farming character, but if you're using for farming, you can get your doppelgangers out every single turn, 3 waves, so very efficient for that wise. For harder challenges, SP plus 5, you get to that 3rd final wave, or even like on advents in the future or whatever, 5 waves, and she's going first of SP plus 5, 25 extra SP for everyone. So you'll get into the harder waves, 3, 4 and 5, and you're getting out your bigger skills and knocking out enemies so much easier. And it links well with the NE1, the AoE damage, again like I said, Doppelganger, extra 15% boost for that as well, and it's going to fit on any team. As I said, you put some staff members on there, so just pure Flon for just an example, she has that Flonzilla, big area effect attack, an extra 15% buff on that. It's fantastic. And again, she's getting SP plus 5, so she can hit that move a lot quicker as well. Not that that's her role, but just an example of how else they can be used. For herself, that damage to monsters, that's her saving grace for attack, I'd say. She's not going to be putting out big attacking numbers, but that's not her role. Her role is support. But when a monster does come, and you need just someone to finish it off, she is there. And so depending how you've built her, you can use a cheap move from whatever weapon mastery you choose, the cheap single attack moves, combined with the damage to monsters plus 45%, great, top notch sort of thing there. And this final nail in the enemy's coffin, Celestial Favour, I've already said it, but attack and intelligence minus 10%, combined with an already debuffing unit who does Doppelganger. You might have other units Doppelganger, so I mean, in a team of bow users that just Doppelganger, 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 lots of arrow moves. I can't remember what the cheaper single arrow move is called, but again, just so much attack debuff. If you're going against a lot of attack units, you're going to see so little damage. You get another ally in the team that can buff your team's defense you're absolutely golden. You're not going to see any damage at all. But if you do take damage, let's just drop down to our skills, and we've got that HP recovery, and it's very cheap. You can hit that every couple of turns because it is so cheap. The poison invalidation is even more icing on the cake. Now, I said earlier about the poison invalidation being that you can't be poisoned after you've used this move. I'm taking that directly from the Easter Mouse Japanese translation on this fandom, because his Japanese character profile also says the poison invalidation as well, which then, when it did get translated to English, it did say immune to poison. So that's what I'm translating. That's how I'm assuming that's how this one works too. So those tricky monsters and pirates that are coming and trying to poison you, no, not a chance. Go away. You can't do it. Sister Artina's got you covered, and it's the whole party which makes it even better. So what is she lacking, I would say? Spell-wise, there's no Braveheart, there's no Mega Magic Boost. So thinking of tier list wise and best units, the best support units do tend to have those sort of skills. And I said a bit earlier about the Mega Armor Break doesn't carry over the same, but you'd understand that yourself anyway. But still, with the amount of other stuff she's given to allies, SP, extra damage, debuffing the enemy, healing your team as well. Now, I know our tier list, where healing doesn't quite fit the current, slightly before now meta, but now Conquest Battles is a bit more relevant, is a bit more handy, and again, the poison and validation on top of that does make it really useful too. Extra debuffs as well, but because she's not giving you that extra attack buff, which it is the current meta. The current meta is to buff one unit with several attacking buffs, and then they wipe out the enemy. She cannot provide you with that quite as well as other units can, but for a free unit, she's definitely high B, probably even high A maybe. She's not the top S rank units, because she does bring so much, and she brings it to so many different units. That's probably why I'd say she's very high up just because of that. But yeah, a great unit, a great free unit, so I hope everyone can get on her advent and get her, because it is going to be tough. I have made a little prep video as well, which, depending on release dates or when I release each, I'll try put that link in the description as well, so you've got access to that too. But that's my thoughts on Sister Artina, and I hope you enjoy that. Remember guys, if you did enjoy the video, please do hit like, and if you are new to the channel and you want to always see more Disgaea content, please do hit subscribe. And from me and Sister Artina, I'll see you again soon. Bye.